Today we're going to do some practice with factors and multiples. So if you have not watched the previous video on what is a factor and what is a multiple, I highly suggest that you go back and take a look at that video just to walk through and understand and kind of refresh what's a factor and what's a multiple. But this video, we're just going to do a quick practice. So taking a look at this first part, we're going to do factors first. So just reminder, factors are the numbers that you multiply together to get another number. So for example, 2 times 3 equals 6. 2 and 3 are factors of 6. 1 times 6 equals 6. So 1 and 6 are also factors of 6. So when you're asked the question, what are the factors of 6? If you're listing them, you can use the rainbow method, right? We know that 1 times 6 is 6. And 2 times 3 is 6, right? But remember, when we're listing factors, we always list them from least to greatest, okay? So it's okay if you need to write them down on a piece of paper, but when you're listing them, make sure that they're in order from least to greatest. So let's look at another example. What are the factors of 21? Well, let's think about the number 21. Remember, we're always going to take 21 and multiply it by 1. 1 is a factor of every number. So 21 times 1 and 3 times 7. So you can see how I jotted them down as factor pairs, but when I go to list them, I'm going to put them in order from least to greatest. I'm going to use the rainbow method. So I'm going to say, okay, 1 times 21 is 21 and 3 times 7 is 21. Okay. What are the factors of 31? Well, I know that 1 times 31 is equal to 31. But are there any other numbers that you multiply together to get 31? Take a look at your multiplication chart. Think about, I don't think so. There's nothing else that I can multiply together to get me 31. 31 is what we call a prime number because it only has 2 factors, 1 and itself. So 1 and 31 are the only factors. That's all you have to list. And you can see, even if I just connect them, that they multiply together to get 31. What are the factors of 24? Okay, well, let's think about the number 24. I'm going to start with my first one that I know, 24 times 1, because I always start with that. All right, what else? 2 times 12, 6 times 4, 8 times 3. Is there anything else? I don't think so. So I'm going to go ahead and start to list them. So I'm going to start with my smallest number and I'm going to work my way to my greatest number. So 1 times 24 is 24. 2 times 12 is 24. 3 times 8 is 24. And 4 times 6 is 24. So you can see I like to list my factor pairs first and then go ahead and put them in order from least to greatest. So let's do some practice now. All right, I want everybody right now, pause this video. I want you to try these 4 problems on your own. So you're finding the factors for 15, 25, 3, and 27. It's kind of guided for you because it gives you the blanks. And make sure that you're ordering them from least to greatest. So go ahead and pause the video right now, work on those, and then when you're finished, start the video back up and I will go through on how to do these. All right, so you should have done these on your own first. Now I'm gonna go through and go over them with you. So for 15, always start with the first one that you know, which would be 15 times 1, right? Or 1 times 15. All right, what's something else that you multiply together to get 15? 3 times 5 or 5 times 3. Anything else you multiply together to get yourself 15? I don't think so. I went through all my facts in my head. I'm running through them. There's nothing else that gives me 15. So here is where I need to start listing them. Personally, here's how I like to list them. I can either just look at my numbers and put them from least to greatest, or I could use rainbow method. So I know that 1 times 15 gives me 15, and I know that 3 times 5 gives me 15. They're in order from smallest to largest, and they all match up. All right, let's look at 25. 25. We have 1 times 25, always. What else multiplies together to give us 25? 5 times 5. Now watch. If you ever have a double number, so what I mean by that is 5 times 5, 2 times 2, 4 times 4, 6 times 6. You do not list that number twice. You only list it once. So watch how I would list these, okay? When I list them, I would say, okay, I know that 1 times 25 gives me 25. And then I'm only going to list the 5 once because 5 times 5 is 25. You're not going to list 5 twice. If you're writing the factor pair down, you would write 5 times 5. But when you're listing them, if you get a double, you only need to write that number once. All right, let's look at letter C. I have 3. Well, we know that 3 can be multiplied by 1, but there's nothing else that gives us 3. There's nothing else I can multiply anything by to give me 3. 3 is a prime number, so just 1 and 3, because 1 times 3 is 3. And for 27, you should have had 1 and 27, because 1 times 27 is 27, and you also should have had 3 times 9, 3 and 9, because 3 times 9 or 9 times 3 is 27. All right, let's shift gears a second and let's go over to multiples. So a multiple is the product of a given whole number and another whole number. So 2 numbers multiplied together to give us our number that we're looking for. So let's take a look here. If I'm listing the multiples of 6, remember, we can also skip count when we are finding multiples. So if I want to skip count by 6s, I can do that. Or I can think to myself, okay, let's start. 1 times 6 is 6. 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 6 is 18. 4 times 6 is 24. 5 times 6 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 9 is 54, and I can continue. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 11 is 66, and I can keep going on and on and on. But if you're asked, what are the first 6 multiples of 6, you would just list the first 6. Or if you were asked, what's the first 5 multiples of 6, you would just list the first 5 that you come up with. Remember, we're skip counting, or we're taking our number, whatever our number is, and we're multiplying it by 1, by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5, and so on. You will always have more multiples and fewer factors. So for number 1, what are the first 4 multiples of the number 9? So let's think about this. I'm going to come over here, and let's multiply 9 times 1, which is 9. Now we'll do 9 times 2, which is 18. 9 times 3, 27. And 9 times 4, 36. Now these are the first 4 multiples of 9. I could keep going, but they just asked for the first 4. Now if I'm skip counting by 9s, I'm doing the same thing. 9, then I got to add another 9 in my head. 18 plus another 9. 27 plus another 9, 36. So either way, if I skip count or if I multiply my number by 1, 2, 3, and 4, I'm getting the same answer. So this would be 9, 18, 27, and 36. That's how I would find the first 4 multiples of the number 9. Now I want you to pause this video and I want you to circle the numbers or write down the numbers that are multiples of 7 on your paper. So pause this, take a look at the numbers, cross out any numbers that are not multiples of 7, but I want you to circle or highlight or star the numbers that are multiples of 7, and then we'll check it. All right, so you should have done this on your own. You should have paused the video and done this on your own. Now we're just going to check it. So let's list the multiples of 7. That's the first thing I'm going to do. So I start with my number 7, and remember, either skip counting by 7s or multiplying 7 times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 28. Running out of room. Let me go down a little bit here. 7 times 5 is 35. All right, we'll stop there because there's, it looks like most of these numbers are pretty low. All right, so let's go through. We're circling numbers that are multiples of 7, crossing out numbers that are not. Is 1 a multiple of 7? So let's look. Remember, the multiples are the products. So do you see the number 1 listed there? No. So I would cross off the number 1. Now, don't get confused because 1 is a factor of 7 because 1 times 7 is 7, but it's not a multiple. There's nothing you can multiply by 7 to give you the number 1, right? Okay, 7. Do you see the number 7 listed? Yes, 7 is a multiple of 7 because 7 times 1 equals 7. 14. Yes, 14 is listed because 7 times 2 is 14. How about 17? Do you see 17 in your list? No, 17 is not a multiple. Let's cross that off. 21. 21 is right here. Yep, 7 times 3, so I'm circling it. 27. No, not a multiple. 35. Yes, 35 is a multiple because 7 times 5 is 35. So that is how you find multiples. Make sure that you always write out your facts. Write them on the side or write down how you skip count so that you can always go back and double check.